disciple your family is your highest calling. To bear the image of God in your family. Because if you can't bear the image of God in your family, how can you do it to anyone else around you? Right? That's why we make baptism a public spectacle. That's why we say, come up here and let's do this and let's do it in front of everybody that is celebrating you and saying this is a good thing. And that's why I hold you under until the last bubble comes up. Then I pull you up. Right? That's why we do this publicly, because if you can't walk down and publicly say in a church setting, I have made God the Lord of my life, Christ, Jesus, the Lord of my life. If you can't do it here, how are you going to do it out there? Right? It's the order of it. It's the way it's supposed to be. So, if God knew that man would fall, and yet he was still resting right before that, resting in knowing that it's going to accomplish what he's called it to accomplish, then if God can rest in it knowing that there could be some chaos come back into the world, then maybe that should be a sign for you to learn how to rest in Him even in chaotic moments. Well, how do you do that? How do you rest in Him when things are going crazy? How do you rest in Him when things are just not quite right? It's not complicated, thankfully. You come unto Him. You come to Him. You come to Him. How many of you come to Him on a daily basis? Like, how many of you do you lay yourself at His feet on a daily basis? And that looks different for everybody. Some of you, that may literally mean you lay flat on your face on the floor every morning and you say, God, you're going to have to help me. Right? Some of you, if I were to do that, I would fall back to sleep. Just being honest with you. All right? I on more than one occasion, I have fallen asleep praying on my knees before and woke up and my feet were asleep. Right? And it was God up there going, ha ha. No, just kidding. How many of you come to Him? Okay, let me go back to the question. If someone were to follow in your footsteps on a daily basis, would they be drawn closer to God? Would they know at the end of that day, if they followed you when you woke up that morning, whether it was 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6, 6:30, or if you got to be at work at 8 and you wake up at 7:45, and they follow you from that point to the time you go to bed, are they going to see God operating in your life? Or are they going to see things that really don't matter that much operating more in your life than what it should? There are things we often put first in our life that really don't matter at all. Are you part of God's order? God said it was good because God decided to bring man into it, knowing that He had a destiny for man. He brought mankind into the mix by creating him for a purpose, and that purpose was to bear the image of God in the earth, to carry out this manifested plan. God takes from what He has ordered. You following me? God ordered it. And then from the order, He takes from it dust. Right? Dust. Did you hear that? Dust. I looked up what the word dust was in Hebrew. You know what it is? Dust. Isn't that cool? Dust. It actually means dry dust. Dusty. It's not like in my mind I always thought clay. Like the potter's wheel. He threw the lump of clay on there and he began spinning it and putting his finger in it and he made a vessel. Right? But the Bible here actually says he took from dust. 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 Dry place. He took from the dry place. And somehow from the dry place, he brings to it a form. Somehow he turns this dry place into a clay place, into something he can form together. He takes from the dry place. Somehow he inserts his own supernatural water into it and starts to create man. This is why Jesus says later to Nicodemus, you must be born of the water and of the Spirit.